There are two very bad things on the rise in the U.S., poverty and obesity. According to a U.S. Census Bureau report, the number of people in the U.S. living in poverty rose to 46 million people in 2010, the greatest number in more than 50 years. For a country with a ton of millionaires and billionaires and all the coolest toys, that's pretty gross. According to a 2011 CDC report, no state in the union has an obesity rate of less than 20%, meaning that in every state in our country, at least 1 in 5 people are clinically obese. Many states have much higher rates too. And according to a 2009 review on the epidemic of obesity by the National Institutes of Health, people who live in the most poverty-dense counties in the US are those who are most prone to obesity, meaning pretty much that our poorest people are our fattest. Now, there are lots of ways to parse the data. For instance, higher income women are less likely to be obese than low income women, but the same might not be true for men. But all of this can be filed under one big heading of no duh, right? Because we all know this by now. We've all seen the pie charts and heard lots of talking heads yapping about this data for a while now. And we all know our food has become crap because of crooked big agriculture and corporate greed. Our food has become just another way for fat cats, pun intended, to make money. And the result is that our food is making us all fat, which is making us all sick. We've all been talking about the correlations between heart disease, stroke, diabetes, certain types of cancer, and obesity for a while now. What we're not talking about is how ridiculously crazy it is that we live in a world where people who have less weigh more. It used to be that if you were poor, you were skinny because you didn't have enough money to buy food. Nowadays, if you're poor, you're fat because you don't have enough money to buy food that isn't crap. And that is crazy! To have fewer resources and more body mass doesn't make sense. It's another example of how greed has convoluted truths and sense in our country to the point of absolute inanity. And that is insanity. Tonight, let's talk about that by following me on Twitter @TheResident.